Hi, it's me again with more marginal gains in tennis. Remember, for the full experience of marginal gains in tennis, then do head to tennisplayer.net where my 11-part series on marginal gains in tennis is published. But for this video today, we're going to crack on with some marginal gains for match day itself and during the matches. So I've been struggling with my game a bit lately. Actually, I'm just hitting way too many balls in the net. It's quite frustrating, but because I'm such a good coach, I've come up with a great way to work on this, and actually it's got to the point now where in practice I don't put a single ball in the net ever. So I feel I should share it with you. It's genius, really. When I go onto the court, I go onto the court and I wind the net right down, and then I practice on that court, and literally I never hit a ball in the net. I mean, it's so good. Look, enjoy your lessons with me because I'm obviously going to be on the Pro Tour pretty soon. Yeah. Actually, is it such a good idea? No. It's actually really dumb, isn't it? That's a really dumb thing to do with your tennis training. But equally dumb is to think that the 5-minute pre-match warm-up you get at tournaments before a match is enough to get you ready for competition. So grab yourself perhaps the most important marginal gain by having a proper 30 to 45 minutes warm-up on match day itself, and make that warm-up a clever warm-up, make it purposeful and specific by using relevant drills such as down the line live, such as getting some drills going to practice your superpower skill we talked about in the last video. Obviously get some volleys and smashes in there, and most importantly spend a good chunk of that warm-up time on your serve and your return, and then you will get the benefit from that with confidence. Confidence is huge in tennis, and if you can step on the match court and certainly step up for the first point of the match knowing that you have prepared all your shots, you've practiced all your shots and your key plays, then that will give you a boost of confidence right at the start and will certainly improve your chances of winning. Yeah, okay, arriving early is not the most exciting thing. In fact, for some people it might be about as boring as a rail replacement bus service, but in tennis it's hugely important and it's a big marginal gain to make sure that you arrive early, especially on match day. Arriving early makes the difference between arriving feeling relaxed and ready as opposed to arriving feeling rushed and stressed. And it is a choice to arrive early at a tournament, so if it's something that you struggle with, then I would suggest trying to set the goal to create a habit of arriving early and start getting used to stress-free, relaxed journeys to tennis. If that first bus doesn't arrive, it's not a problem. Don't have to worry about it. You know, if you're sitting in the car at the lights and there's a learner driver in front of you, keep stalling the car when the lights go green. It's fine. It's fine. It's no problem. You've got plenty of time, and you can also start getting used to some chill time when you get to the tournaments, of course, or whether you get to the tennis venue. You know, who doesn't like a bit of chill time? So, and I'll prove to you it is a choice, and there's no such thing as people who just naturally arrive a little bit late to things. Obviously, we know there are a lot of people out there who do seem to always arrive just a little bit late. You know, if their lesson is at 5:30, then they're going to rock up at about 5:33, 5:34, you know, maybe 5:36. You know, that's just what happens every week. But what if you move their lesson to 5:15? Then they're going to rock up at about 5:19 probably every week. So if it's possible for them to arrive at 5:19, then it's possible that they can arrive early for a 5:30 lesson. So remember, people, it's a choice. Choose to arrive early and enjoy a stress-free life. Yes, we're on to the match court now. Last 4 marginal gains, all about what is going on during matches. First one is tactical. Now, tactics can be in-depth and specific and a little complicated sometimes. Other times you can be watching a junior match and it's clear that neither player is adopting any sort of tactical strategy whatsoever. So grab yourself a marginal gain by keeping it simple and finding the answer to just one tactical question. And that is, are you trying to win this match by using your superpower tennis skill, or are you trying to win this match by stopping your opponent from using their superpower skill? You might also have a situation where the balance is about 50-50 and you just need to understand where it lies on any particular match day. As an example, let's say your superpower skill is your big inside-out forehand. You're a right-handed player, big inside-out forehand, often going to the opponent's backhand. But today you're playing someone whose superpower tennis skill is their early aggressive flat backhand down the line, and they are better at hitting that shot than you are at hitting your inside out forehand. So for this particular match, your tactic is going to be to stop your opponent from using their superpower skill, even if it means that you can't use your own superpower skill. So you'll need to rely on perhaps your inside in forehand and trying to get the play onto that right side diagonal where you're trading cross-court forehands and trying to keep the ball away from your opponent's superpower backhand. And of course, if your superpower skill is getting the job done, then just keep it simple. Keep trying to look for every opportunity to use your superpower skill to control the match. And in situations where it's more of a 50-50 balance, or like the example where you're actually looking to stop your opponent from using their top skills, then in those situations you're also going to find some weaknesses in your opponent's game as well, and it's always worth trying to keep a little note of where those weaknesses are, and that's another area that you can look to develop tactically as matches go on. Try and target any weaknesses that you do find. So I did touch upon in one of the earlier marginal games, I touched upon players like Dan Evans, Andy Murray, other players, there's a few others on tour who quite often get grumpy and negative and get down on themselves on the court. And of course it might help them, it might be what they need to really perform. We won't really ever know that. But what is for sure is that when you see players in that frame of mind on the tennis court, they never look like they're really enjoying themselves very much. And tennis should be enjoyed. So grab yourself a marginal gain by being nice to yourself on the training court and the match court, whenever you're on the court. Let's try and understand what's going on to help when you see that kid who's constantly moaning about every single shot they miss, getting down on themselves, being way too harsh on themselves, and yet when they hit a great shot, they barely even acknowledge it. So why? What's going on? Right, little evolution lesson for you. Us human beings are wired to notice failure and errors and mistakes. That's how we're wired, because in the old days, failure and errors could be the difference between eating and going hungry. It was back in those days where a small cut could become infected and kill you because there was no medication to fix it. In fact, just 150 years ago, average life expectancy in the UK was just 41 years old. So evolution just has not had any time to catch up to our modern lives in 2021. So in 2021, us human beings are still wired to notice and be very aware of mistakes and failure and errors, even though it's of no use to us on the tennis court. Unless, of course, we're going to learn from those errors. But as we know, once you start getting upset about your errors and emotional, you're not really in the right frame of mind to learn from them. So remember, it's not your fault next time you're getting negative on the court and telling yourself you're so bad at tennis and you're going to quit playing tennis, you're never going to play again. But if you want to win a bit more, a lot more, and if you want to enjoy yourself and enjoy your tennis, then you need to try and find a way to override the instincts, and the best way to do that is to set the goal to create a habit to become positive and happy every time you're on a tennis court. You can start by always forgiving yourself when you do start to get a bit grumpy on the court. Just forgive yourself for it and move on. In matches, try to get a habit where you are forgetting about the last point and focusing on the next one immediately. Just forget the last one. And the most important thing really is to just give your best effort to the present moment as much as you can in tennis matches. Right? You can't give your best effort to the present moment if your mind is thinking about something that's happened in the past or something that might or might not happen in the future. The present moment is all us human beings ever have, so try and stay in that present moment. Grab another in-play marginal gain by understanding high-risk plays and owning the risk when you decide to take them on. I'm talking about hitting down the line when you're pushed quite far wide on the court, playing drop shots when you're slightly out of position, hitting bigger second serves than you normally do, or using serve and volley when it's not something you would normally use. So high risk plays can be very beneficial. They make you more unpredictable as a player, and they can earn you some valuable points just by surprising your opponent. So understand the risk, own the risk, own the risk as you hit these shots confidently and positively, and as you do that more often, you'll get better at managing the risk, and you'll also be able to quickly accept errors when they do come and move on quickly. So it will add another important element to your overall game plan when you're out there competing in matches. Alright, momentum in tennis is a bit of a myth, especially when it comes to one player storming back to level the score when they were behind. You know, say someone's 5-2 up and then it's 5-all, 3-love to 3-all, or you know, 1 set up and then it's 1 set all, or even in a tiebreak, 6-3 becomes 6-all. In this situation, it's important to understand that the person who had the lead is still often the player in the best position to then push on and still get the win. And the reason for that is that when you're behind in one of these situations, you have 2 big tasks to do if you want to win. The first big task is to get the scores level, and the second big task is then to go on and push on and win. Often that first big task takes a mental and a physical effort to get the scores back level, and it's very difficult to not feel a little bit complacent, just take your foot off the gas a little bit at that moment, because you sort of feel satisfied that you've got the scores level and things are going your way. Meanwhile, your opponent down the other end is, as long as they've not lost the plot emotionally because they've lost the lead, then they're going to be feeling determined and focused to work hard and push on and try and get this lead back. So you have a situation where you've got one player who's slightly vulnerable, maybe a little bit just a little bit complacent, take their foot off the gas, and you've got another player who's very determined. So it's never a surprise when the player who makes the comeback to level the scores is then unable to go on and win. So fast starts in tennis are very valuable, very important. The odds of you winning are always going to be better when you get into the lead at the beginning. So never feel any comfort from the fact that long format matches might allow you to come back. You want to put all your effort into getting a fast start, which makes that preparation before matches all the more important. And you can grab yourself a nice little marginal gain by understanding this stuff about momentum, so that when you're in a match situation and you've made the comeback, you can really guard against being complacent. You know that making the comeback isn't enough if you actually want to win. You've got to keep your focus and intensity at 100% when you've leveled the scores. And likewise, if you're the player who had the lead and then lost it, you need to keep confident and have confidence in the fact that you're still in a great position to win the match, and that your opponent at this moment could be a little bit vulnerable. So take confidence in that and keep working hard and playing intelligent tennis, and you might find that you can still push on and win the match quite easily. Right, that is it for marginal gains in tennis, the 2 videos. At the time of filming here in England, we are very close to a return to the tennis courts, which is very exciting. So that will be good, and hopefully I will see you soon. In the meantime, get out there and enjoy your tennis, and feel free to contact me by any of the usual means, email, comments under the video. You could try things like telepathy if you want, but it might not work. But always happy to hear from you and to talk tennis. Alright, have fun, enjoy, and be happy.